What's up, y'all? And we're back for a little two-piece. This is Big Fred, and I'm fresh off the clock. And here we are with all MEC Concord Center and Jacksonville offensive analyst, Derek Dressler, Jacksonville State. Derek
That's
Dressler,
right.
guys. Let's give him a round
That's
of
right.
applause.
What's going on, man? I appreciate you having me.
Dude, appreciate you being on, man. Appreciate you being on. I'm gonna give y'all a little quick backstory, real quick, man. You got Derek Dressler and Jack Skidmore were like the senior linemen whenever I was at Concord, and they were handily responsible for just Fred Minko drinking a lot of alcohol. I mean, damn, dude.
Oh no. Don't put that on me. Maybe Jack. He'll listen to it. He'll know.
Oh man, dude. Hey, I would love to. I was talking to Jolly today, man, about just getting just the boys on here and just cutting up, and I'm down for real.
Absolutely.
You, Jolly, Jack, and them boys on.
Absolutely. It'd be a good time.
Hell yeah, man. Hell yeah. So like, what's up? You had a pretty quick turn around from playing to coaching. Was that something that was kind of pre-planned?
No, I knew after I got done playing, I wanted to get a master's degree, and West Virginia State came open as a possibility for me. And originally, I was just going to get my master's, get out of coaching, maybe go back home and start life in the real world. But ended up falling in love with football. I was actually a defensive line GA my first year there, and as a GA, I mean, you do some pretty tough stuff. You're in there late nights, you're grinding, breaking down film and everything, and the people is what you kind of learn to fall in love with. I mean, you meet some really cool people. Like you said, we were talking about Coach Price and those guys. I mean, those guys are everywhere. So you start meeting those guys, you start learning some stuff, and you get in the whole recruiting thing, and then it almost becomes addictive. But got promoted to D-line coach there, and then kind of just fell into this whole coaching world. There's a saying, once you're in, you're in. And like I said, as long as you're a good person and you work hard, it's really not that hard to climb. You got to be a good people person.
Fair enough, man. Now, were some of those West Virginia State D linemen still talking shit whenever you went over there?
It's funny. My man Nate Parrish, who was one of my nose guards at the time, I remember there was a topic, something came up. They were talking some smack, and I remember I went back and played the game where we played them, and he was a 3 technique, and I was a center, and I reached him at the time. It was either him or Kendall, and I ended up dumping him in the dirt, and all the shit talking stopped right then and there. They started laughing and respecting me a little bit more, which was funny at the time. But yeah, there was a little bit of trash talk.
That's pretty dope, man. Listen, I don't know what individuals y'all met in your life, but this man right here has the single most just thickest, well-cut calves you'll see in your entire life, bro. Like, you just can look at him and know he played center. Like, I mean, just absolute dog, bro.
It's inherited, man. It's my mom gave him to me. That's why I say.
Good. And then his brother too was a hell of an athlete too. But he was a linebacker over for Richmond, right?
That's right. We tried to get him at Concord. I remember we brought him to a camp. Scott McKillop was linebacker coach at the time, and it wasn't even fair. He was killing it. And we tried to get him there. University of Charleston offered him after that, but Richmond came in late, and he ended up going to Richmond and being a really good player. So yeah.
Fair enough, man. Fair enough. I do want to take you back some. 2015. Wow, I was 15. Dress, you're an old man, aren't you?
I'm getting old. I'm getting old quick.
You had your first start against Charleston. Fast forward to 2017, all in EC second team, and then obviously you're just 2018 dominant season. What were some things that you thought you knew in 2015, but you didn't learn until about that 2018 time?
Oh gosh. Oh man. Really, the thing going into college football, and you know as well as I do, I mean, you think you know everything as far as you're really stuck in a box. And then as you develop and you kind of get used to it, you become more aware of what everybody else around you is doing, if that makes sort of sense. So like, for example, if I knew that a 3 technique and a B gap backer were stacked with one another, somebody's got to move. They can't both, be in the B gap, or that's an unsound defense. So little things like that I tend to learn as I kept going on. And, we went through my first year. Garen Justice was my O-line coach. And then I had Coach Beekman, he was there for a while, Coach Jolly, Coach Mahoney, all those guys. So you kind of pick up little bits and pieces and puzzle from all those guys. And as it kind of, teeter on along, you start to learn a little bit more and more. But really, what the biggest thing is what everybody else is kind of doing. So the more you know, the more you learn, the slower the game really becomes. And that kind of tends to the offensive side of the ball. And then you start learning what the defensive side of the ball is doing. And I would say that's probably the biggest thing. It's kind of hard to remember. It feels like forever ago, but
And I'm having to really work. You have to peel it back some. You remember what was your like welcome to college moment?
welcome to college, like in football or outside
Yeah,
of
no,
football.
I mean, just what's the one guy that just took you out where he was like, damn.
Austin Dotson, no ifs, ands, or buts. I was a freshman playing guard at the time. This was our first live period, and I was nervous as hell at the time. And I remember looking up, and he looked at me. He said, "Hey, you might want to put that mouthpiece in, buddy." And my mouthpiece was in my face mask at the time. I was like, "Damn, I better put this in." So I did. I ended up meeting him in the A gap, and since then, I mean, it was on from there. Welcome to college football. So that was probably one of the biggest memories I got.
That's pretty dope, man. Pretty dope. I get my little notes pulled up here. I typically have them written down, but I got them in my notes
Yeah,
today.
you're good.
You're the Iron Man. Didn't miss a snap in 2018. Now, you were invited to the D2 combine, right?
There was a couple like small school regional stuff I did. I know I went to Fairmont State and tried some stuff there. I ended up, I mean, coming out of college, you think, you're going to go to the NFL, then you kind of see what else is out there. And it's worth giving it a shot. My knees and stuff were pretty bad at the time, which isn't an excuse. I just, it takes its toll on your body. And I knew that my time was probably up. So, but yeah, Fairmont State, I did a little regional combine and it went okay, I guess. Not good enough, obviously.
I got you, man. So you were at West Virginia State for 2 years there. How'd you get the connection to Jacksonville State? Was it just an opening you seen and applied for, or?
Uh, no, I mean, like you said, everybody knows everybody. Coach Justice, Garen Justice, who I played for my freshman year, who I mentioned, he played for Coach Trickett, who's the O-line coach here now, and then also GA'd for him for a couple years. And then on top of that, also had a connection in with the receivers coach here, Ryan Garrett, who is a Rich Rod guy as well, who worked with me at West Virginia State. So I kind of had two ends. And when this job came available, got a couple phone calls and back and forth. And I think it was a Friday when I got the call that it was open. They called me on Saturday, told me I had Sunday to move down. I was Concord's coach at the time. So I moved from West Virginia to Alabama in less than 24 hours. So it was a quick turnaround. That's how it is, though. You got to be ready to move in this profession.
I didn't know that you were coaching at Concord. So that puts that what 2019 or 2020?
2021 spring. Yeah, 2021 spring. I was there for 3 months. I was the O-line coach because I was at Bryant University up in Rhode Island for a year, and then took the O-line job at Concord. And then, like I said, that was short lived until I got here. So
I got you, man. Obviously, you being able to see the whole broad picture at that next step higher up. What are some differences that you see in just the way that they do run things there?
you talking about from like D2 to Division I, kind of?
Yeah.
Really, I mean, the resources are the biggest thing. I mean, when I was at Concord, we struggled to buy a plane ticket to get a recruit in here. I mean, you can get as many as you want, obviously under the NCAA rules, but the resources is a big difference. And then the depth. So there's some Division II guys out there John Kaminsky, those guys played for Charleston. I mean, all out dudes. I mean, some of the best of the best. But here, it's more abundant of them, more amount of them. You got depth as well. So our first string center is pretty darn good here. Our second string center is pretty darn good. So usually at the D2 levels, you got one guy, and if a guy goes down, knock on wood, heaven forbid, you're kind of stuck with somebody. You know what I mean? So those are the two biggest differences. And then maybe a couple inches in height and maybe a tenth in the 40 speed. So
I got you, man. I got you. So I mean, you've obviously kind of found your niche with what you do. Do you plan to just ride the full thing now? I know you kind of don't want to look too far into the future, but you got to have some kind of idea, right?
yeah, I mean, I know I want to coach ball as a profession. And looking for, I mean, you got to do well where your feet are at. You want to, obviously keep climbing the ranks, but something that Coach Trick has taught me here is you don't want to climb too fast. Work where your feet are at. And I'm an analyst here now. I worked up from a GA, so that's a blessing. And like I said, I get to work with some really good people. But wherever this game takes me, and it's a tough profession. Like you said, I mean, you can get fired one day for not having enough wins, and it's a very high intense, high stress environment. But at the end of the day, I love ball. I love what I do. I love recruiting. I love there's no better feeling than getting a win, coming in the locker room with your boys after and enjoying that stuff. But, I'm just going to kind of ride it out, see where it goes and see where life takes me. And like I said, here in Jacksonville State's my stop for now, and we'll see how long it lasts.
I got you, man. Jacksonville State comes to South Carolina this weekend. I'm in Sumter. Columbia's right around the corner, man. That's not a hateful ball club up here right now either. Do you have any predictions for that with you being an offensive analyst? I'm assuming you're watching some film and sort of seeing what they're doing. Big name. I mean, y'all got Spencer Rattler in the flesh this weekend, right?
What's the game South for Carolina? Him?
Huh?
You talking about South Carolina?
Yeah.
Well, we got FIU Wednesday night first.
Oh.
So we're playing down in Miami. We fly out tomorrow. So right now, worrying about that game. The South Carolina game, we'll worry about after, but they're a good program, obviously. I mean, it's my first SEC experience. It ain't going to be light, so little Gamecock fight. We'll see how that goes. But now we got the Mountain, or not the Mountain Lions, the FIU. What are they? The Panthers? The FIU Panthers. We got those guys Wednesday night on ESPNU, so hopefully we can get us another win and keep adding to that bowl-eligible record,
I got you, man. Now, you being up close with some guys, you are obviously with it being D1. Who are some of the guys that are your personal guys that when y'all look towards the team, those are the guys that you want leading?
Well, center Trey Brown, he's definitely one of them. He's from South Carolina as well. He's the only senior we actually have in the O-line room. He's one of the guys we hang our hats on. He's good at communicating with the O-line, putting us all on the same page, and really strong. Even the other guys in the O-line room, Brock Roby, he's an RC Bird guy, Robert C. Bird, from there in West Virginia. He's a
okay, hell yeah, that's where what was that defensive lineman, the big tall
Noble.
one? Justin
Noble.
Yes, Justin Noble. Yep.
Noble's from there as well. So he's a guy that he actually went to Glenville first and then transferred here when Coach Trickett left. Coach Trickett was at Glenville as well. So he's a guy, I think we were talking today, he's got over, I can't remember how many snaps of total college football, but it's a lot. But he's a guy that you can it's crazy. The first quarter and the fourth quarter, you turn on the tape, nothing's different. You're going to get the same effort, the same amount of get up and go from that kid from play one to play, if it's 150, 150. So that's a kid that you can depend on. And there's a South Charleston kid we got here, a right tackle, Xavier Bosley, who's a really good. He actually came in, and we knew he was going to be a developmental guy. I think he could barely bench 225 at the time, and he's now up above 3. I think it's like 330 on the bench. I mean, he's developed. We took a before and after picture of him, and it's crazy the differences. So a lot of those West Virginia guys seem to be the guys we can hang our hats on. It's crazy, but no, all the other guys in the room are pretty good. And then our quarterback Zon Webb, he's had some really good games, and our tight end Sean Brown, he's a really good guy. Who's showed up in a couple games as well. So it's not just one position group, which is good. So it's all around a pretty good team with a lot of leadership.
I got you. Now, obviously, you've had the pleasure of working and being able to meet some very intelligent and well-gamed coaches. Jolly, I mean, that's my dog. Shout out to Coach Jolly. Absolutely. Have you sort of reached out to him to get some tidbits from him?
I've actually. It's crazy. When these job opportunities come open, you kind of reach out to a couple guys, and Coach Jolly's actually a guy that I reached out to for some advice and taking some jobs and not taking jobs, because he's obviously been there and done that. So I've reached out to him before, and we talked, and then we just talked, in and out, just random stuff here and there. But it's kind of crazy. The O-line world, everybody kind of knows everybody. So what you hear from one person is more than likely going to be the same, or like you said, a branch of somebody else. So like Coach Trickett here, I mean, I've heard some similar stuff from him that when I was playing for Garen Justice, like the T-board steps and everything, it's the exact same thing that he teaches these guys here. So it's a whole tree of O-line stuff. So you reach out to one, you kind of reach out to 20 at the same time, if that makes sense.
That's pretty dope, man. Pretty dope.
Yeah.
I'm working with a guy like Coach Trickett. Coach Trickett, obviously big name back home. And
Right.
he was up at Linville. Wow, I completely forgot about that. Fair enough. Sometimes I have to wind it back, wind my mind back some too, man. I don't think I ever told y'all I actually signed to play at Glenville State. And
Did
then
you really?
yeah, no, I
I didn't
went
know
to
that.
Glenville. We had a big 6'5" receiver. I should got the picture down. Eric Gross. That kid. Shout out my dog Eric. You're my dog. Couldn't catch AIDS in a whorehouse though, man. I mean, that was my dog. Don't get me wrong, Eric, but they were just trying to get me to get him. And then, which I don't know, man. I kind of talked to him after I signed. I didn't get a workout plan for like 2 months after, and I don't know. I guess I was going to stay closer to home. And then Coach Bradley, the DB coach at the time, he's from Mount View. So then
Yeah,
I just reached
TG.
out to him, and he put me in touch with Coach Price, and then kind of the rest was history, man.
Absolutely.
Damn. Just talking to you, Jolly, Lily, I'm really just reliving so much. And there's some of it that I struggle to really remember because I wasn't really cohesive at that time. Being where you are now, obviously you were a very high intensity player. Does the offense and the defense kind of still be button heads, right? Just at that higher level, or is it just more of
Absolutely.
a all right, fair enough.
Absolutely. It's every day, and it's funny because like I'm in charge of the scout team D line here. So my goal is to make obviously our O line better, and every single day. And I think this is what makes me better, or not me, but the team a lot better. Is every practice. We actually had a speech about this today with Coach Rich Rod. Every practice we have is like it's a Super Bowl. We are going at it. Now there's not many fights. I'll say that as we probably had at Concord. We got into some brawls, but it's a little more under control here outside of the whistle. But in between the whistles, it's full out go. So, and that's what makes us good. We go by the motto hard edge, and everything that we do, we're going to bring some shit to the party, if you know what I mean.
Dude, I'll never forget. Who was it? Jack Skidmore, helmet in hand. Dink! Oh, who was
Going
that
up
that he hit?
underneath.
Yeah, bro. And he had on a cast, didn't he? Like my man was out
He
there
did. He did. He had a
fucking
built-in weapon.
just going, man. Oh, that's pretty dope, man. I'm gonna definitely have to get Jack on here too, man. That guy was a hoot, man.
You need to. I think he's about to start a family, have a baby, and he's living the life right now.
I almost sold him a truck like 3 years ago. We were in talks about it, but something happened or he found a better deal somewhere else, which is fine. I mean, that
Yeah,
happens. But a big shout out to Jack Skidmore too, man. I remember y'all brought a few of the freshmen up and really tore me up. But
you're good.
I pretty much got through most of what I have here. You have any guys you want to give some of the shout outs to?
Uh, shout out to all the Concord guys. It's been a long time. I know Jack and then Ryan Gatrell, Coleman Osborne, all those guys that I grew up with and who taught me really how to play ball and what life and all that stuff was about. Definitely made that college experience worth it. So, and if it wasn't for Concord, I wouldn't be here today. So that's definitely a true statement. And I'll go with that to the day I die. So that West Virginia connection is something special.
Shout out to the folks, man. My last thing, man. Coach Price actually got a tattoo for the only win we had that season.
6-0, baby.
Shout out for the shutout, man. Dude, Coach Price, I'm getting you on here, man. I promise you, I cannot wait for that one. I was just telling Lily about how I was always on Jolly shit list. No matter if I was good, my grades were good, I was just always on that shit list. I just lived on it. That was my home. I had to own it, right? And I was doing like just barrel rolls, like just up and down the field. And Price yelled at me and told me I looked stupid to stop doing it. And I was like, all right, cool, man. Uh, So Dress, I definitely appreciate the time, man.
Yeah,
I will definitely keep my eyes peeled for y'all boys. Anytime I see you share something on Facebook, I'm always like, that's my dog right there, man. So they just
that's
keep
right.
on doing, and I'm sure with the way you are doing it, it should pay out pretty well for you.
Absolutely. So y'all tune in. Like I said, stay looking out for Jacksonville State. We're going to surprise a lot of people this year.
Do we get any predictions for Wednesday night?
All I know is Jack State over FIU, baby.
There we go, man. Hey, y'all, stay tuned. Wednesday night, ESPNU, Jack State. You said FIU?
FIU.
FIU. Be there or be square.